Hi, my wonderfully small audience of this channel, although surprisingly large, of 10 people, considering no one's meant to know about this. Welcome to my lab. As you can see, I'm feeling much better since yesterday. I did throw up a total of 7 times, but now I feel way better. In fact, it's as if nothing ever happened. I'm pretty sure I've done a lab tour before, but I'm going to do it again because it turns out I've got to present a thing next week. I'm going to be the host, and I've never done that before, but I have always wanted to do it, so it's time to get rid of all my awkward tics and my pacing and my weird voice. So I'm going to just show you what we do in this lab. So this here is the flight arena, it's our dome, and inside we have a fly. In fact, we have a fly in there right now, and we'll try and get it to do what its namesake is by whacking a towel on the side. That is because the looming aspect of this coming towards a fly, or the shadow or the vibration it produces, tends to trigger flight. So in this case, it's hiding well out of the way because it doesn't really want me to bother it, and that's when the hand goes in. So then we get the fly flying around the setup inside. We have some food going up near the centre because we ideally want them to go through the centre of the volume so that it's in view of all 4 cameras. We've got 4 cameras at the top. They are backlit by some infrared LED lights, so you can't actually see the illumination, and neither can the insects, so they don't affect their trajectory, how they fly. What you're seeing should be completely natural flight when we're recording it. And when it goes to the centre, we have these 2 triggers, that when an object triggers both of them, which often will happen when it's in the centre, then it will initiate the recording. So ideally, we put the food close to the centre so that the fly will be motivated to either land on the food, and when it takes off it's going to go through the central volume, or to attract and draw the fly in as it's going from the outside. Flies are kind of hungry creatures, and flight is energetically expensive, so food works really well in this aspect. Where have you gone? Here it is. Now, these flies, unlike other ones I've worked with, are blowflies, and they're not used to hovering. They don't really hover much at all. So it's actually pretty hard to get them where you want them to. A hoverfly, for instance, will hover on the spot, and if you just put the food close enough to where you want it to be, you've got a high chance of getting a great recording bang where you want it. I've also worked with fruit flies, and they're tiny, so we stick them in an even smaller container, and therefore it's also easy for them to fly where we want them to. These guys are kind of small, we've only got 1 in. The dome is big. They don't tend to fly where I want them to, and that is actually really frustrating. That means I've got to spend a lot of time trying to get them to fly. However, when the triggers do go off, there's a very satisfying noise that the triggers make, and I'm going to try and get a successful recording for you so that you can hear that noise, and so I can get a recording, and you can see just how happy a scientist can be when they've basically undergone Pavlovian conditioning listening to that recording. So let's see. Come on, little one, why are you not flying where I want you to? There you go. Oh, that's really close to the centre. Come on. It would almost seem like they learn that the towel isn't quite so dangerous when it's coming from the outside because it can't actually penetrate the glass. But that's when the hand goes in. And shows what they've got to do. Anyway, so whilst I'm trying to get this little beastie to fly, let me tell you a little bit about the event I'm actually hosting. There's an event organised by Summer of Love 2016, and it's all about the science post-Brexit. So I'm sure you're aware that Britain kind of decided, oh, we're going to leave the European Union. That's going to go well for us, and especially for the scientific community, that is going to lead to very big and important changes that are probably going to affect the way science operates in this country. And given the government doesn't really have a plan, I think it is very important that the scientists know what they're going to do, have a plan so that the quality of our science doesn't go down the drain. So it's been advertised as a panel discussion. It's not really a panel discussion. We've got 4 speakers, I'm one of them as well. And we're just going to talk about how the EU has actually shaped science in Britain, what's going to happen now, and what we can do to maintain the quality of science that we have. And to be honest, I'm actually thinking what kind of approach I'm going to take, because I think there's some very obvious points. You know, collaboration is going to be affected. Getting the best brains and the best scientists working in the country is going to be hard. You've also got the issue of funding. A lot of universities rely very heavily on EU funding, and it's quite likely that they might close down, or the research will probably go down the drain, or either everyone's going to get a huge pay cut, or there's going to be a lot of scientists being fired. Either way, it does not bode well for the state of research and development here. But I imagine that most of the other people are going to speak about that as well. So I also want to think about how can we talk to the public that aren't aware of how important that is, to support the scientific community, how to better communicate, how to better show that actually staying in the EU is probably the best bet for science, but also to the country as a whole. I think we're slowly breaking out of this, but science does have a reputation for kind of keeping to ourselves, and we're not the best at talking about what we do, so people aren't aware of how important it is or what science is really. If you're not in, no one really knows what happens, and I think it's very important that the scientific community can actually learn to bridge that gap to the general public. And I think if they were able to do that better, then it would also communicate how important science is in the light of events such as Brexit, might have changed the voting outcome in some way. Anyway, my video is dragging on now, and yeah, it's not flying, is it? I really want you to hear the wonderful noise it makes. Come on, why are you so lazy? I gave you bananas to say you fly more, not say you just stay there. Come on. Oh my goodness. At least this one finds the food. There are some of them that just don't realise that they have food in the middle, and they just completely ignore it. And then complain that they have no energy. Not that a fly actually complains, but when you spend a long time alone in a room like this, you start to anthropomorphise everything. And I know that fly. You start to anthropomorphise everything. And I know the flies hate it when I do that. Come on. Come on. Right, no banana for you if you don't fly where I want you to. Oh my goodness. Ah. Okay, well that's the noise. I can guarantee there was no recording, that was actually me accidentally triggering the thing. But there you go, that is the sound of joy, especially when it happens on its own. It means the fly is behaving the way you want it to. Anyway, see you in another one.